Hi guys and gals, this is Alex from A&R Design. Today we have a really cool pistol. We did a video on this years and years and years ago. This is a 586 L Comp Smith & Wesson Performance Center. It is a 7-shot 357 Magnum. It's a really, really beautiful revolver. My friends over at MK3 Firearms in Las Vegas, they said, hey, it's been a while since we built a gun for you. And revolvers are kind of hot right now. And I saw Model 19s in this gun that had optics on it. So I did get the Apex Tactical acro plate for this, and the optic sat really, really high. It was uncomfortable to carry because the mailbox was now in line with my belt, and it was fighting the concealment claw of the holster. I wanted a Holosun EPS on this revolver, not an acro. Acros are cool, they're robust, but I wanted something with the lowest optical center to the bore and the lowest enclosed emitter optic I could get, so that it's not really obtuse. Like when this had an acro on it, it sat probably the 1/4 inch higher, maybe even more. And when you're carrying to conceal, it fights the concealment claw. The whole point of this concealment claw is to use your belt to turn the grip of the gun into the body. And when you have a giant acro, it's fighting itself. Anyway, this is our revolver holster. It's in True Hide Whip, which is the black leatherette looking Kydex. We also have True Hide Whiskey, which is the brown. I think the black looks really nice in this setup. Concealment claw, DCC, Mod 4, 1.5 inch. How this conceals, put it into the pants, tuck that claw in, move my Neomag so it doesn't chew up my, Neomag does make J struts that fit these holsters really nice if you are running an alias system. The optic does sit behind my belt, but what happened when I was carrying with the acro, it sat farther back as well. So it not only sat farther back, but it sat really high. It ended up resting on my belt a lot of times, which causes this grip to do this, which is not horrible. This is more comfortable and in a better position for me and conceals really well. Get that gun out. Just reholstering, I kind of got to twist it in to get the optic in behind the belt. Not a big deal though. Getting it out is no problem. Getting it in, you just want to twist it towards the body a little bit more. It's a little bit more deliberate reholster than something like an auto pistol, like the M&P that I'm carrying. You just go in and out. Because the optic sits behind the belt a little bit, you do have to kind of rotate it in to get that holster in. So this gun from MK3 did come with these hammer forged. These are the hammer forged 3D printed grips. The ones that came from MK3 are shorter, flush to the bottom of the cylinder frame. It has these nice bevel cuts on them, so you can wrap your pinky into that bevel on the far side. It's really comfortable, and it also exposes a serial number here on the bottom, and it's a little bit more concealable because it's shorter. Really, really, really comfortable. The only thing I would change, just because I'm shooting a lot of rounds for a 357 today, which does beat you up, I am carrying the full-size hammer forge grips because it's more comfortable on my hands. I use my pinky when I grip it to throttle it down to get the optic in sight, because when you're coming out with this firearm, the dot's pretty high, and I use that pinky in that proper grip to drive it down. It's a nice little grip. And they're local hammer forges in Maine, so it's really cool. So a lot of things were done to this gun. They Cerakoted the cylinder titanium. These are supposed to look like those, you know, the super titanium lightweight Alaskan pistols. So Kev was like, can I paint it like that? I was like, absolutely. And then it's got that nice satin gray frame, which looks awesome. Once it gets dirty and carbon buildup and all that stuff, this gun's gonna look so nasty. Bob the hammer. They replaced the cylinder release with this one from, I can't remember, but it does cover up the little safety locking screw there that locks the mechanism in the Smith & Wesson pistols. It's got this nice rear grip texturing here, just kind of matches the hammer forge grips really well. They did it to the trigger guard and under the front of the trigger guard here. They did an asymmetric fits cut. If you've ever seen a revolver that's missing the whole front of the trigger guard, that's a fits cut. You can Google what a fits cut truly is, but it's so that you can get to the trigger guard faster. It makes it harder for people to get their finger into your trigger guard and find that trigger if you're in a defensive situation, stuff like that. But you can read the whole theory of fits cuts online. I'm not going to get into it too much, but having an asymmetrical right-handed fits cut's nice because now my finger slides right into that trigger guard a little faster and gets on target. They did a trigger job on it, so the double action pull is really, really smooth and nice. Single action is probably 2 pounds, if not less. Single action's a little scary in this thing, touches off for sure, but the double action's perfect. Down to the front, they got rid of the front sight post assembly, they blended it, they left a little bit of the anti-glare serrations there. They added some nice little flat spots, barrel crown. It didn't have a big factory crown here, they added a really nice race crown to it. And then they put in a linear port. So this is a compensator. This is not a port, it's not a chunk port. This is a true compensator because it's got the whole dwell chamber built in at the front of the gun. They also machined it down up here to fit the C&H Precision EPS optic plate. I haven't trained with a revolver in a really long time. I didn't do practice leading up to this video. So my revolver skills are behind the power curve. We'll be working on that now that I have this wheel gun that I want to play with. We have a couple different loading options here today. We've got your TK Moon clips here, which are probably the best. Speed Bees, these are really, really cool. You just got to get the tips of the rounds into the cylinder and you can just pump the back of the speed loader and it drops them in. These are good for competition. For concealed carry for backup, this is a Revo Mag. This will show you how to load in a second. And we've got a big box of different types of ammo to put through this. So. I'll load the TK. Speed Bees, which you can drop and bump, they fall right off. And Revo Mag. So Revo Mag does come with a practice cylinder. Still trying to figure out the best way for me to do it. If I'm opening the cylinder one-handed this way, I can drop these, you squeeze to release. It has an 8-round capacity. It takes some practice getting used to. The tip sticks out, you stick it in and you can just dribble it in and pull it out. It's pretty cool for carrying 8 extra rounds on you. One that we don't have photoed is the Neomag Rask with the soft rubber bits. The ones that I have are 6-rounders, not 7-rounders. But and that's fit to the receiver, and then the optic is mounted. It's a all around, it's a super awesome build. Lots of work done to it. Let's start checking out some ammo here. We're gonna shoot some lead, solid lead wad cutter 38 through it. Some S&B, some super soft stuff. You don't ever wanna shoot this gun from close retention like this. That port is super dangerous. It's probably gonna shave copper off the projectiles. If you ever had to shoot from close retention, I'd say definitely rotate the gun. Miss, 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 center mass. 2 more of those little guys. Press one off into. All right, I don't know where it hit. Looks like it hit low right. We're just gonna go box for box here. This is Hornady Backcountry Defense. 165 grain DGH, pushing 1510 muzzle velocity. That's what they look like. Solid copper. They don't have the little plug from Hornady. Those are hammers, holy crap. All right, so this is the Hornady Custom 158 grain XTPs. Hollow point with the perforations, a little different than the last one. A little softer, not as angry. Not looking forward to these. These are the Federal PowerShock 180 grain hunting loads. You can see they're a partial hollow point, partial leaded soft point. Honestly, those weren't as bad as I thought. I thought those were gonna be a little spicier. So muzzle velocity here is 1080, whereas the Hornady backcountry is 1510. So, it's like 400 more feet per second. All right, so these are the Barnes expanders, 140 grain, 357 mag Federal Premium, and we are looking at 1400 feet per second muzzle velocity. This is also a deer hunting load. It's a solid copper expander, what it looks like, 140 grain. Woo-wee! Yeah, that's quite spicy. These are 158 grain HydroShock jacketed hollow points from Federal Premium. These are 1240, so this is your pretty generic HydroShock. There's your HydroShock tips. Those are pretty classic with the little leaded spike in the middle. These grips are nice. I can get kind of nice and tucked in there and get a normal grip on the gun. I can put my thumb against the cylinder and support it. I'm not riding too far forward, but as the gun shoots, it starts to tip back a little bit and my thumb starts creeping forward. All right, these are 135 grain Spear Gold Dot. And we're looking at, there is no muzzle velocity listed. There's your little split crimp. Little patterned crimp, your classic Spear Gold Dot. Not so bad. I said when it gets dirty, it's gonna look cool. Starting to get real nasty around here. Let's do 50 yards. Oh, right under it. That was pretty cool. These can be adjusted, and I'm sure Kevin's gonna yell at me because he called me like 4 times about it and I didn't have a chance to call him back. When you press the cylinder release forward, you can see that the front of the cylinder release is hitting the feature of the revolver here. It's getting hung up ever so slightly there. Might need a tiny bit of adjustment, but not horrible. I should have just brought a box of 38 out. So much nicer to play with. Anyway, I'm tired of shooting 357 Magnum, so I'm done shooting this beast. It is such a loud gun. It's so cool. Compensation is absolutely wild. The look, fit, and feel of it is awesome, and very, very happy with the way it came out. If you want a revolver like this, something custom, super Gucci, I mean, man, that fits cut super cool. I love having that trigger guard. Slip right in onto the trigger in a hurry. Anyway, thank you. Big shout out to MK3 for building this gun. They make fantastic builds. They're fantastic humans and they're good dudes. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the MK3 586L comp. My hands aren't very happy, but I'm happy.